How you doing, people? Well done. Well done, I'm saying to myself. That was hard, that was tough. Very hot today. But like I said last video, it's my choice, isn't it? It's Menorca. Hope you're well. Those of you doing Runaday challenge. Where are we? My thumb goes up now to check what day that is. 12th of August. Right, so you're on day 12, people. I wasn't going to do a video necessarily today, because tomorrow's our last day in Menorca, but I got an email that interested me from somebody who's not doing the Runaday challenge, but they're just doing it in their own times. They didn't sign up in time for August, which is fine. They're just starting mid-month and just having a go, and they're on day 5 at the moment, and they're only used to running twice a week. So they've chosen a sensible distance compared to what they know their body is capable of, and they did push it a little bit hard the first few days, and then they saw my video saying if you're going to do a month's continuous running, then you've got to make it a little bit slower. So they tried slowing it down, and that's when they sent me an email saying it's all very well telling people to smell the flowers, but some people just aren't into the scenery, which is fine. Some people are running where there isn't any scenery really, or they can't appreciate it, they just don't appreciate it. So how do you keep your pace low without getting bored, and just don't feel like you've accomplished anything? So it's a great question, and it's something which I personally am blessed, I suppose. I don't really suffer from it because I'm quite a visual person. I love just watching people. I love looking through windows in a good way. I love looking at the sea. I love looking at boats, and I'm lucky that generally where I run, there's something to look at. So, but I appreciate it for people who are running somewhere where there's not much to see, or not much, or they don't just get that sensation. Then how do you keep it slow? How do you enjoy your run, basically, while still only on a 3 out of 10 exertion? So that's a great question, and I'm going to answer that now. So one way, which might again not help people, is do it with a friend. Okay, I can't do that. I don't like running with people. I don't like talking when I'm running because I'm taking so much in from outside. I don't want a conversation. I want it all to be external input, as in like scenery, and then just sensations from within. But one of the benefits if you do like chatting with people, is going with a mate. Doesn't have to be the same person. Doesn't have to be the same. If you're doing a run challenge, for example, or a run streak, you could arrange with other people, different people, to run with them, and choose somebody who's a slower pace than you. Not too slow, because you'll end up adopting a bit of a weird gait, and that can lead to issues. But someone who's definitely not going to go faster than you normally would. And that can be a great way, because the idea is if you're keeping a 3 out of 10 intensity, then you should really be able to maintain a conversation. And to runners who do go out by themselves, then one way to test if you are running at about a 3 out of 10, then is have a pretend conversation with yourself, or try reciting a song, or saying the alphabet, or whatever gives you a chance to see whether you can, whether your respiratory rate is low enough and your heart rate to maintain the conversation. So yeah, there's one thing. Run with somebody else could work. Just shouting out hi to Stephen Healy, who's watching. How you doing, Stephen? Haven't spoken to you for a while. Hope everything's well. I see your name flashing up with loads of online talks and chats and things, so you seem to be doing great. Hope you are, mate. I'm enjoying the Glastonbury rings and Stonehenge and that. So anyway, yes, another way of keeping the intensity low, because maybe you don't like running with someone else, or you don't know anyone near you. Another way is music. Okay, now I've said that before. Again, I love music. I use music to help me maintain a fast pace, or music to help me maintain a low pace. Now, it doesn't mean for a low pace you have to listen to classical music or something. What I tend to do, and I've said this before in videos, is for me, I love rock ballads for that kind of thing. I like the power of a rock ballad, okay, but you've got that still beat there, that kind of like hard beat, to keep you going, to keep you in the kind of momentum, and keep that fire lit kind of thing. Obviously musical tastes will change, but that can be a nice way to make sure that you're not getting carried away, because if you are listening to, I don't know, a slow rock ballad of some form, then it kind of reminds you not to go too fast. Yeah. So that's another way. You might find that running to classical music or something might help you. Yeah, find what works for you. Some people, doesn't work for me, will listen to a podcast or something when they're running. I can't do that personally, again, because I find I'm concentrating on what the person is saying rather than enjoying the scenery or enjoying my feeling inside. So I don't like podcasts. But again, some people will take the opportunity to do their run whilst listening to a podcast. Doesn't work for me, but again, it might work for you. And you might find yourself running a little bit slower if you're listening to a spoken word or an audible song, a book read out or something like that. So it's another possibility. Another way of keeping your pace nice and slow. What was the fourth one I was going to say? Oh, the other nice little thing I do when I'm running with runners, for example, marathon training, when I was doing marathon training and trying to keep people even a minute slower than their marathon pace, which for a lot of people is crazy slow, I would just get people to lower their shoulders. That is a lovely way of taking the edge off the intensity. Okay, people who are generally running at a 5 out of 10 intensity will have their shoulders quite high because they're kind of ready for war. Yeah, their sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight is kind of and the shoulders raised, ready. Okay, so going around and just, well, you can't do it to your own shoulders, but just lowering your shoulders down, okay, engages the parasympathetic nervous system, which sounds so scientific, doesn't it? I'm doing what I criticise now, but it does make you more relaxed if your shoulders are lower. And take a deep breath through your nose, and that will take the edge off. Okay, you'll be amazed how that does take you in a totally different realm. Suddenly you're running for the peace, you're running for the tranquility, as opposed to running to a war. So that can help as well. So there you go, there's some ideas about how to maintain that lower intensity run. Of course, at the end of the day, the other thing which should be happening, if you are doing 80% of your week, so 5 of your running sessions are at this maybe slightly awkward lower intensity, then you should find that for the other 2 days, separated preferably, when you are opening the tank up and working at maybe 70-80% or even more of your intensity, then you've got it happening. Okay, you should be starting those sessions, whether you're doing hill sessions or interval running or something like that, with the bit between your teeth, because at last you've been let off the leash. Okay, you've been given that permission to let it go. So those intervals should feel like bam at last, you know. So that's another way. If you are struggling to keep these low intensity sessions low, then just think, okay, it's fine. On Thursday I'm doing those hill runs and I'm really going to open up the tank for that. It's going to be okay. I'm doing this now because on Thursday I'm going to have a hell of a good session. Okay, for example. So there you go. It's important. Remember, I'm talking about for intermediate runners here. For new runners who are just taking on the challenge, I wouldn't worry too much about different types of training session during the week if this is your first time at doing a monthly challenge. For you, it is really just a time to get out and enjoy it, maybe do a walk run if you need to, and then advance that to continuous running or different times. So this message has been for intermediate runners who are used to running 2 or 3 times a week and they want to turn it on and give themselves a challenge. Right, excuse me, that is it, I think. Yeah, nothing else to say, I don't think. Thank you to those people who are still signing up for the Runner's Guide course. I'm getting some lovely testimonials together. Don't forget, if you have done or you are doing the Runner's Guide course, which is 15 lessons available at Run Chat Live, taking you through all the important aspects of how to reduce the risk of injury and increase performance. They're all available at runchatlive.com. If you're watching it and you're enjoying it and you've finished, you've enjoyed it, then it'd be great to have a testimonial from you. If you fancy seeing your name in headlights, then let me know. If you want to send me a testimonial but you don't want your name, then just let me know in the email and I'll put a non underneath for whatever reason if you don't want your name shown. But yeah, I'm collating a few which I'll put on the website just to let people know, because people like to know, don't they, about a product. They like reviews from colleagues. It's no good me telling you that it's a pretty good bit of work and will reduce your injury, increase your performance. I mean, I'm confident it will, but then it's my product, isn't it? So yeah, any testimonials appreciated, and also any feedback you've had. There was a couple of feedback saying the last 2 episodes on different types of sessions for performance. Didn't have as much science in them, but that's because research for performance is really tricky. It's very difficult proving that something was responsible for improving performance because there's so many other variables. How do you take out all those other things which could be improving performance at the same time and show that one thing has improved performance? How do you have people living exactly the same lives, for example, and then find out or prove that that variable is responsible for the outcome? So yeah, it's tricky with performance. A lot of it has to be anecdotal and what goes on when you take samples of runners and things. So that's why. But in terms of shoes and breathing and strength training, and what else was in there? A lot of the other lessons, then I do supply the research. Not too much, not too geeky, but just enough to show you things about why stretching might not be the best idea, why strength training is so good for you, for most of you, and things like that. So give it a look if you haven't yet. Go to runchatlive.com and have a look. You can buy it as a one-off, or you can just sign up as a premium member and you get access to it that way. Right, I'm off for a little swim. Jealous, I know, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be rubbing it in. Last day's my last day in Menorca. It's been a lovely week. Didn't expect to go through an injury. Oh, by the way, the adductor was just humming at a 1 or a 2 today. It was, as I was pushing it a little bit in the last mile progression, it was letting me know a bit, but again, now it's fine. And also I was doing breaststroke again, just to test it, and that's I can't kick at full hip extension as much as I would like to, because that's exactly how the injury happened. But again, that's an important part of rehab, going back to exactly how the injury was started in the first place. So I've been doing that today in the pool, just lengths, and yeah, it's feeling better. So a quick turnaround. If you didn't see that video, it's on YouTube. It was an interesting turnaround from really not being able to lift my leg up onto the couch, literally having to lift my leg up with my arms in probably an 8 out of 10 pain, and my wife going, oh my god, what have you done to yourself, to now today running 5 miles with a mile progression at the end at a steady tempo. Was great. Testimony to how, I don't know, is it testimony to the type of rehab I did, from loading it from the beginning, from consistency in rehab? We'll never know, but it's worth trying. If I'd gone to see someone the way I was, they would have said to me, rest completely, put your foot up, stick some rock tape on it and some ice on it and let it recover for a few days, and I would have been out of action and not running. I didn't do that. I started loading it straight away. I can't prove that was responsible for me healing. Maybe I'm just superhuman inside and it was going to heal anyway, but it was a nasty reaction from my body when I did it. I was limping all day for one day and unable to lift my leg. So who knows, but it's yeah, anecdotal evidence, but that's why if people come to see me and they're acutely injured, I get them loading straight away. Anyway, have a little look if you haven't. It's about a 29-minute video because I'll talk you way through all of the rehab, but it's on YouTube if you want to listen to it anyway. Right, take care people. I'll maybe back tomorrow with a video, we'll see how it goes, but if I don't, then I'll see you back in the UK. Take care, bye bye.